Alright, well, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, Sloclaps' new game, Rematch. To start off, the game looks great. It doesn't look bad at all. It's just so out of left field that I don't think any of us fans expected this, nor really wanted this. And before I get any of these "you gamers are so entitled" and ungrateful posts, I'm fully aware that Slowclap owes us nothing. It's their studio, they can do what they want, but that doesn't mean I still can't be kind of disappointed. I've been speculating on Discord and Reddit subreddits for, God, over like a year now about what the new game might be, which I know kind of sounds silly, but I'm a huge fan. Like, I have hundreds of hours dedicated in both their games. I even, used to do speed running in Sifu. So to say Slowclap doing a complete 180 in their game direction is a shock to me is a bit of an understatement. And I won't lie, I kind of crashed out a little bit on the announcement. So I've never been really disappointed about a game announcement before. This is, kind of a first for me. And what makes it worse, really, is that the game they're making doesn't even look bad. It looks completely fine. And I really do hope it's successful. Like, I'll definitely give it a fair shake. Like, I always want to be as honest as possible and as fair as possible when playing a new game, especially from a company that I love so much. Um, and I'll do that if I'm invited to the beta, but I'm just not really a football fan, and chances are I'm probably not going to buy it. Like, I don't know what it would take. Like, I'd really have to just love the beta for me to buy a game like that. So that leaves kind of, me sitting here and wondering why, why did they decide to go in this direction? Has the idea of a football game like always floated around the office? Are they bored of making martial arts fighting games and felt the need to do something new, go a different direction? I mean, if we look at their company website, they've made it very clear that they've always been interested in different narratives. So it's not like we've been lied to or anything, but when a company has made two martial art games, those kind of style, that's kind of what your fan base is going to be filled with. It's martial art fans or fighting game fans. Um, maybe the idea is to reach out to a wider audience while still trying to keep the audience that you already have. I just don't think it'll shake out that way. Um, like, I think they'll definitely get some new fans, but I kind of doubt most of the current fan base is going to be on board. This is a big risk for them. If this doesn't really attract the football Rocket League fans, then there's a good chance that this game, could fail, could put them in the red as a company. However, if the game does do well, then what can we expect from the future of Slowclap? Do they leave behind the martial arts media world and pursue more sports avenues or just different narrative style games? And I mean, this is pure speculation. I don't know. I feel like, truth be told, they solidified themselves as a martial arts game studio, so I doubt they'll just abandon it. But money speaks loudest. And if we're being honest, kung fu movies and fighting games don't really do numbers like a lot of other traditional media do. And unfortunately, a lot of modern day kung fu movies almost always kind of miss the mark in a way. At least for me, that's kind of purely opinionated. I mean, most of this is opinionated. Fighting games usually like end up with a pretty small but fairly dedicated fan base after their release. They'll do some numbers, but those numbers will typically, dwindle down. I mean, just look at, Uni, uh, Grand Blue, for example. Even Tekken keeps pretty high numbers, but still for such a big company, such a big game, it still decreases. It still has its fall offs, which I think is kind of expected for those games. But it's funny because like I feel like I'm a freaking crack fiend scrounging up any bit I can get when it comes to this stuff. So like I'm just sitting here and I'm left with this void to fill that no other studio has filled like Slow Clap. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but martial arts and kung fu movies and games have been in a drought for like a very long time. It's very rare we get any sort of content like this, and after 2 years, we're now left in another waiting game for any sort of martial arts based media. And who's to say we'll even get another fighting game in another 2 years? Absolver came out in I think 2017, Sifu released in 2022. I mean, these things take time. And we now know we're no longer guaranteed that we'll even get that after this game. We don't even know if we'll get another fighting based game from Sloclap after this. The game doesn't look bad. I definitely still have to give it its fair shake. I have other games that I can move on to, and at least the world of manga still has a lot of really good martial art content in there. It just sucks that this is the only option us fans are left with. So I hope now everyone who doesn't understand why there's a lot of salt floating around in the community can kind of understand why. Nobody hates Slow Clap, and I hope everyone only treats them with the respect they deserve. But just don't be upset with us for feeling disappointment. They kind of took up a mantle we all thought had been let go of a long time ago. So our excitement was palpable. And seeing this new game not deliver what we were all hoping for 2 years now. I mean, hell, we've been waiting for a new Absolver game for, God, over 5 years. We've all been hoping for like a new stylized Absolver game, even if it was a new IP, like it wasn't even Absolver, like it was just an Absolver like game. I think a lot of us would have been really, really happy. And it felt like them as a studio was only getting started as kind of a martial art fighting game studio. It felt like they were finally refining their skills, you know? God, there were so many ideas floating around, just to name a few. I mean, there's some people that were hoping for like a UFC stylized game, just, better. Because let's be honest, those UFC games kind of suck. They're not good. They're not fun. They're not interesting. And so a game like that would have been pretty cool. But also the idea of like this open world martial art fighting game, even like a Tarkov style, Absolver like game would have been really cool. I mean, there's just so many ideas, there's so many things that they could have done that just kind of seeing a football game just was such a big shock, and it didn't really sit well. Off rip, it really just sucked. But regardless, for the sake of the future of martial art games, I hope this game is successful, and I just hope they don't forget about the rest of us. I'll make a future video on the game if I get into the beta, and honestly, I just really, really hope I fall in love with it. Yeah, I don't know. Even like maybe this is just gonna set up like a new like I don't know like movement based style game in the future. I have no idea. I have no idea where this is gonna go. I have no idea what they're gonna do. But hopefully it's good, and hopefully they succeed. That's all I can really say at this point.